Guys, it's an absolute pleasure to have you once again. Welcome to another Owner Finance Your Way to Freedom live Q&A. It's been quite an experience to be with you guys. It's been a little over a year already, and I'm super excited. Welcome to another Owner Finance Your Way to Freedom. As always, we're using StreamYard, so I'd love to hear your comments and hear from you guys, but you got to give StreamYard permission to let me know exactly who you are. Once you do that, if you don't mind typing in the comments where you're from or what your market is, that would be amazing. Love to have you guys on board. Jared, good to have you. Sammy Prieto, welcome aboard. By way of introduction, for those of you who don't know, my name is Dan Diaz. I was born in Mexico City, raised in San Antonio, Texas. I began my real estate investing career in November of 2015. I knew nothing about real estate at the time. I was general manager for Palm Harbor Homes before I became a full-time real estate investor back in November of 2015. My first deal generated me $80,000 in upfront profit and a $400 monthly spread. And guys, I was absolutely hooked. Junior Octavio from Houston, Texas, H-Town. Manuel Campa, DFW. Jared from Lubbock, representing. You sure are, my friend. We got Justin Long from Houston as well. Ray Pantak, hola, from all over Tejas with a J, not an X, for sure. Good to have you on board. Lubbock and San Angelo, Texas. Sammy Prieto. Now I mostly raise private capital to fund owner finance transactions. I teach seller financing as an acquisitions tool. And yes, we do buy as much site-built single-family homes, small commercial assets, and land as we can get our grubby little hands on. I consider myself, above all, an owner finance fanatic. I love a good dry red wine, a stiff scotch, a cold beer, international travel, a bloody red steak. Man, I miss my travel for sure. Cynthia Johnson, San Antonio, Texas. Good to have you on board. I'm here in San Antonio. We should chat sometime one-on-one. Why was this group created, guys? I believe as the financial markets change, our survival will depend on our ability to swim these uncertain and tumultuous seas. Moving forward, I believe that acquiring properties through seller financing will be paramount to growing your portfolio. I know it will be paramount to growing our portfolio. Ray Pantak, let's go. Mexico is open. It is. We're actually thinking of heading out to Cancun maybe in July. So that's definitely up. What can you expect to get out of this group? I've made a personal commitment to use this platform to help you sharpen your own creative financial acquisition teeth. I want you guys to devour every opportunity out there. I know you're spending a lot of money, time, energy, and effort on generating leads that not all the time produce wholesale numbers or not all the time work well for a cash takedown. However, if you learn how to negotiate seller financing, you can take down these tools, these deals on your own, maximize your marketing budgets, and actually start owning real estate, which I think is massively important to take somebody from a wholesaler or even a rehabber or flipper down to a true investor. I believe that the definition of an investor is someone who actually owns real estate or paper assets. Facebook user, Metro Detroit. I'd love to know who you are. Give StreamYard permission to share your name, and I'd love to know who you are, Metro Detroit. What do I expect from you guys? Very simple. I expect you guys to be sharks. Now, to me, that's not just a buzzword, but it's an acronym that accurately describes somebody that I expect to mold you into. First of all, S, somebody who succeeds mercilessly. H, somebody who hates mediocrity. A, someone who accepts no excuses. R, resolves to be action takers. K, kills their bad habits. And S, shares what they learned here. This is the mentality of the sharks that I am breeding. And guys, I'm super excited this week because we just surpassed the 4,000 member mark. And I was super excited. We are on a hashtag mission to 10,000. Guys, if you see value in regular interactions and me answering your questions and me bringing together individuals that can really help you in your real estate investing career, please tell your friends, wholesalers, rehabbers other investors in your markets to join this group. It is free. It will always be free. And it is a center for you guys to become educated. So if you like what you see here, please, please invite those around you. It's not going to cost you anything, and it'll mean the world to me. Just thought I'd remind you guys. So let's go ahead and start with the groups or the questions for this week. We've got a couple really, really great questions. The first one is coming from Joe Swingle. A realtor just told me that it's illegal to show a home in Texas without the realtor being present. If you have a listing agreement with them, this can't possibly be true. So first of all, I'm not an attorney. This is not legal advice. Consult your own attorney. You asked if it was legal or not legal. So obviously I cannot intelligently answer that question from a legal perspective. However, what my experience and research has shown me is that I can't find an ounce of illegality in that. You may be violating a contract agreement that I may or may not be aware of. So just kind of keep that in mind. There may be something in your listing agreement that says, in fact, that you cannot show the home unless the realtor is present. I'm sure they have the reasons. I'm not an agent. I don't care. Not my thing. But I highly, highly doubt that it is illegal. Incidentally, guys, when somebody, whether they are an agent or another investor or a wholesaler, or I guess anybody really, if they throw the word legal out there, I like to respond with, show me where. That's a very interesting perspective. I've never heard it before. Can you cite your source? Can you show me the code that in fact it says it's illegal? I'd love to share it with my attorneys so that we're all on the same page. Do it nicely, do it diplomatically. That's how I normally try to do it. But don't be thrown around. Don't let yourself be thrown around by, oh, it's illegal this, it's illegal that. Show me where. Cite your source. And by the way, if I ever say something that if I say something and I say it's legal or illegal, you're more than welcome to call me out. I'm happy when people say cite your source because I'm like, all right, man, let me show you my source. Let me show you the code. That's super important. So that's just kind of my perspective on it. Let's see here. We got another question by Mr. Derek Williams. He says he just got fined by NTREIS. I think that's like the North Texas Real Estate something. For using the words financing and for putting his livecom.com recorded line in the property description of phone number. Have any of you come across this before? He did get fined, by the way, I think $50. How can I advertise owner financing compliantly? How can I get my recorded message with owner finance terms in the listing and be compliant? I do not want to field all the tire kickers calling about owner finance terms. I made that mistake on my first deal and my phone was swamped with calls. 95% unqualified people, very, very inefficient. Any feedback how to climb over this obstacle? So a couple suggestions. I would call them directly and say, hey, exactly what violation occurred. I don't know what violation occurred, but you got to ask them. Now, it seems in our conversations, Derek, that the violation that occurred didn't have so much to do with the word owner financing as it did with the use of a telephone number. For some reason, you can't put a telephone number in the advertisement. Again, that's their policy. If that's the case, I guess you just gotta, kind of work around it. So just kind of keep that in mind. Now, the one thing that I do want to touch base, because this is important, there is something called Tilla, Truth in Lending Act. Tilla is part of all of the regulatory situations, federal regulatory situations, where owner financing comes under the umbrella. It is meant as a protection for the consumer. And again, this is not legal advice, consult your own attorney. But Tilla outlines that when some terms are used, they trigger a need to disclose certain other terms. So for example, if any of the following samples triggering terms are used in advertisement, then additional disclosures must be used. Let me kind of make an example. Let's say that in your advertisement, you put the amount of down payment expressed as a percentage or a dollar amount. So let's say you say 5% down or 80% financing. You're talking about the down payment, either as a dollar amount or as a percentage. Tilla says that's a triggering term. Tilla says that there are other terms you have to disclose. What are those other terms? The amount or percentage of the down payment, the repayment terms, the annual percentage rate, and the annual percentage rate can be, and if it's going to be raised, this fact must be disclosed. So again, if you're saying 5% down, 10% down, 20% down, that's a triggering term. So if that is used in your advertisement, then there's a whole other set of information, of disclosures that you have to put. The down payment, the repayment terms, and the APR must be spelled out. Now, here's a tip. If you say, for example, $20,000 needed to close or needed to purchase, that's not a triggering term because that's not the down payment. That is the total amount of cash needed to close. So, not legal advice, but I've researched it. I feel confident. I can defend it. Saying $20,000 at 20% total amount of the purchase price needed to close is not a triggering term. 20% down is. 10% down is. What's another triggering term? The amount of any payment expressed as a percentage or dollar amount. For example, if you say $15 per month or monthly payments under $100. So again, in your advertisement, if you go ahead and say monthly payment $1,500 per month, then that's a triggering term. That's a triggering term if you say $1,500 per month. So don't do that, because if you do that, that's a triggering term, and then you got to put all the other little stuff that I talked about earlier. What's another triggering term? The number of payments. For example, 60 monthly payments and you're paid up. Or for example, 12 small payments is all you owe. When you're talking about the number of payments, then that's a triggering term. How can you fall into this situation when you're talking selling house? 30-year mortgage. Congratulations. That's a triggering term. 360 equal monthly payments. That's a triggering term. 360 payments. That's a triggering term. So if you're going to be talking about the amount of payments, then you got to disclose down payments, full terms, and APR. The total time required to pay or the period of repayment. So for example, if you say 30-year mortgage or 5-year loans available or 36 monthly payments, all of those things, that's a triggering term. If you use a triggering term, you got to go ahead and disclose the down payment, repayment terms, and annual percentage rate, APR. So I don't know, Derek, if the what is it called? NT something something, NT, oh man, I lost it. If the NT North Texas Real Estate Association, blah, 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 is flagging you because you use a triggering term, I don't think so. I don't know, but I don't think that's the reason. I don't know. I don't think most people have read or understood Tilla in detail. I think it's because of the phone number that you use. So you got to kind of figure it out. But for those of you guys who are listening, if you're going to be advertising anywhere, so Hale, what's up? Good to have you. If you're going to be advertising anywhere, just be aware of Tilla. Be aware of the restrictions involved around Tilla. Know your law. Educate yourself. There's over 1,600 pages associated with all forms of advertisement, including owner financing. So definitely keep that in mind. Hope that answers your question, Mr. Derek. Why don't we go ahead and move on to analyzing a deal? I like this. This was submitted by Mr. Jason Creates Legacies. I don't know, bro. That's what you put on your Facebook name. So I guess your first name, Jason, middle name Creates, last name Legacies. That's a pretty cool last name for sure. But we're going to be doing some math. So if you guys want to bring out your calculators and your regular calculators and your amortization calculators, we're going to be having some fun for everyone to enjoy. I'm going to read out the question. I'm going to bring out the deal, and then we're going to We're going to talk about it. So this is what he posted. I have someone who wants to sell a home for $280,000 with an ARV of $295,000, but in order for it to be an actual deal, I'd have to get it at $206,000 if wholesaling. The rent in that area only maxes out at $2,000. He currently has a renter in the home above market rental value, $2,150, but they are already set to move because they signed a lease elsewhere, probably lower rent. I don't know. I would like to take this one down as a wholesale, but we cannot agree on price. Owner finance appears to be the best option, and he is open to it, but wants the underlying mortgage of $134,000 paid off in order to do any owner finance options. By the way, words mean things. When I'm talking about the A to B transaction, the seller to me transaction, I like to refer that as seller financing. When I'm talking about the B to C transaction, the investor, myself, to the owner finance buyer, I like to call that owner financing. Seller financing on the acquisition, owner financing on the disposition. It's not legal terminology. It just helps me know what side of the transaction I'm talking about. I'm thinking I could take this home down at $134,000 and do the remaining $146,000 on terms. I'm not ashamed to say this, but I have no idea how to do owner finance. I understand the concept of it, but I know there's much more involved than I'm probably thinking. Homeboy, you need to take my owner finance, 10-hour owner finance training. It'll blow your socks off, less than $300. It's going to teach you a lot. Price is going to go up, guys, on that. We're revamping it, and the price is going to go up. So I highly recommend that you guys get on it. Just giving you a heads up. I don't know what it's going to go up to, and I don't know when, but it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks when it does. So here's a couple of things that we want to kind of write down if you guys are taking notes. The first thing that I want you guys to write down is up top, ARV, $295,000. Now, this is going to be a group exercise, so I'm going to need for you guys to comment your answer. Sammy Prieto says 50-50. You're on the right track, bro. You're on the right track. But let's jot down the information first. So ARV is $295,000. So I want you guys to write down $295,000. We don't know the repairs. So for now, we're going to say 0. I've never personally ever seen a house that absolutely is in pristine, marketable condition. There's always something. But anyways, you didn't give me repair costs, so I have no way of knowing what those are. So we're going to put 0 for now. And then we're talking about a purchase price of $280,000. So first question for the group. I need for you guys to comment your answers. What LTV situation are we in? If the seller is willing to accept $280,000 and it's worth $295,000, who's the first one that can tell me what the LTV position is? Put it in the comments. Put it in the comments. What is the LTV position here? Loan to value, for those of you who are not familiar with what an LTV is. And for those who are not familiar with how to calculate the LTV, this would be the purchase price divided by the ARV. What's the LTV, guys? Put it in the comments. Sammy says 80%. 80%. So it's not 80%. Go ahead and take $280,000 and divide it by $295,000. If you take 280,000 and divide that by 295,000, John Luenga says 95%. Junior is missing a number, but he's on the right track for sure. So that is correct. Good job, John. 95% is the LTV. I don't like that. I mean, that's pretty darn high. I'm basically buying retail. But let's continue with the exercise. We're buying at 95%. If it makes you happy, that's really what it's about. How would you negotiate this? Now, this one has a really nice thing that it already has a renter in place. Junior, 95%. I figured you did not mean 9%. 95% for sure. So this one already has something pretty cool, which is that it has a renter in place. It has a lease in place. Now, the market rents in that area is $2,000. Why do I like the fact that it has a renter in place? Because you can then negotiate based upon how much can the deal afford. What is the monthly payment that the deal can afford? How much money can I pay you, Mr. Seller? I'm willing to pay you every penny per month that the property can afford. And in addition to that, I'm willing to pay you every penny of the $280,000. So it's real nice when you have a rental comp. It's real nice when you're talking with a landlord, because you can negotiate. He's already getting monthly payments. You can kind of negotiate from there as well. Before you get into the negotiations, though, I would want to have a conversation as to why he's wanting to sell. Why is he open to seller financing? If it's a landlord situation, is he trying to minimize his capital tax exposure? That's a good reason. If it's a big stickler point that the underlying mortgage gets paid off, okay, we'll work with you, Mr. Seller. Let's see how much we can pay you. Junior says, what's the PITI? That's a great question. I don't need to know that right now. Not for the negotiations, and I'll explain why. So this is how I would do the negotiation. Hey, listen, Mr. Seller, I understand it's super, super, super important for you that the underlying mortgage gets paid off. Personally, I think there's a better strategy that you might find a little bit more advantageous. But if I find a way, qualify them. If I find a way to go ahead and pay off your underlying mortgage, are you okay accepting payments for the rest of the balance? Make sure you get a commitment of yes before you move forward, before you unravel everything. Because there's going to be a few problems, and we're gonna see them, as things kind of escalate. But make sure you go step by step. Listen, Mr. Seller, I don't know if I can raise $134,000 for this home. I may be able to. I may be able to get a loan. I may be able to make it happen. I don't know. But if I can do this, are you open to the idea of accepting the balance on payments? Now, just be aware that you're not really going to get any money up front. We're just going to be paying student Wells Fargo or Bank of America. But if that's important to you, we're going to put that on the table. If that's important to you, we're going to put that on the table. If we put that on the table, are you okay accepting the balance and payments? If the answer is yes, then we move forward with what things will look like. Well, Mr. Seller, it's actually, I don't know how much the deal can afford to pay on a monthly basis, but let's go ahead and work it out. So it looks like right now the market rents in this area is about $2,000 per month. Now, I know that we both know that I'm not going to be pocketing those $2,000 per month. I'm not going to be pocketing those $2,000 per month. I wish I was, but I'm not. I've got to set aside money for taxes, insurance, property management, vacancy, repairs, and maintenance. Now, we don't know how much that's going to be. Mr. Seller, do you have any idea what a good, reasonable, conservative estimation would be for putting aside the taxes, putting aside the insurance, the property management, the vacancies, the repairs, and the maintenance? Usually, they'll give you kind of a blank stare. They might tell you the taxes, they might tell you the insurance, but they are probably self-running it themselves, so they don't have anything for property management, and they have no clue about vacancy, repair, maintenance. So what you got to do is you got to get a consensus. Listen, my experience, Mr. Seller, is that on average, if we put aside about 35% of the monthly rent, that usually covers the taxes, the insurance, the property management, vacancies, repairs, and maintenance. Does this sound like a fair amount to you? And you shut up. And you shut up. You got to get a consensus before you move forward. If they say, well, yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the math. Guys, get your calculators out. I want you to find out what 35% of $2,000 is. 35% of $2,000, put them in the comments. 35% of $2,000, put them in the comments. Sammy says, I have a similar issue with a tired landlord. She has 13 properties, all occupied, and wanting them to complete their lease agreement. She also has property management. She is open to a term offer on all of them. Beautiful. You can take this concept with you as well. Edgar, Facebook user in Cynthia, $700. That's 100% correct. So what I want you guys to do is to take $2,000 and subtract the allocation for taxes, insurance, property management, vacancies, repairs, and maintenance. So take $2,000 and subtract $700. What does that give us? Put it in the comments. $2,000 minus $700 equals how much? Put it in the comments. $2,000, the rent, minus $700 in monthly expenses. Edgar, $1,300. Good job. Simple math. So right now, our I don't know if it's gross or net, but the rent after expenses, the net operating income, I guess you could call this the net operating income, is $1,300 per month. Now, from this $1,300, you as an investor, me as an investor, need to cash flow something. So this is where you got to figure out what your minimum allowable monthly cash flow is going to be. It could be $100, it can be $200, it can be $300, it could be $500. I don't know. I don't care. It's you need to plug in a number there. Personally, for me, this is just personally for me, I like to plug in either 10% of the monthly rent or $200, whichever is greater. Either 10% of the monthly rent or $200. In this case, the monthly rent is $2,000, so they both turn out to be the same. So you're going to go ahead and take your $1,300 and you're going to go ahead and subtract your minimum allowable monthly cash flow of $200. When you do that, you should be left with $1,100. Is that what everyone got? $1,100? Yes, no, maybe so. I want to make sure everyone's following. When you subtract $200 from $1,300, you should be left with $1,100. So, out of this $1,100, you still have to pay that $134,000 loan that, listen, Mr. Seller, you're asking me to get. You're asking me to raise $134,000 to pay Wells Fargo. I don't think that's the smartest or most advantageous thing for you, but I'm not going to judge you, Mr. Seller. You want me to raise that money? You want me to go ahead and put that money together? Borrow $134,000, I'm happy to do that. So what is going to be my monthly payment on those $134,000? Go ahead and get your amortization calculators out. If you guys want to attempt your, what is it, B1012 or something? I hate. Oh man, we're back on. Hey, I think we had a technical issue. Can I get a verbal or written confirmation that we're still on? Can you guys let me know if I'm still live on your end? Yes? Okay, awesome, awesome, good deal. It kind of had a glitch on my end. So where are we on the calculations? $2,000 a monthly rent minus $700 in expenses minus $200 per month as your minimum allowable monthly cash flow. We're at $1,100 per month. Now, we got to pay that $134,000 loan that the seller is asking us to get. So go ahead and bring out your amortization calculators and find out what the monthly payment would be at $134,000. Go ahead and use 6%, just for this example, use 6% as the interest rate and 30 years as the loan amount. That's just an example. That's just this exercise. Go ahead and take $134,000 as the loan amount, 6% as the interest, and 30 years as the term amount. What is the monthly PI payment on this loan? Don't be shy, guys. Woo! Junior, $103.40 on the button. Good job. Is that what everyone else got? If not, you guys are going to lose money. So we go ahead and take the $1,100 and we subtract, we're just going to say $803, just round numbers, $803. So go ahead and subtract $803 to figure out, remember the question we're trying to answer, the reason we're doing all this math, and by the way, do this math with the seller there. The reason we're doing this math with the seller there is because you want to answer the question, how much can I pay you, Mr. Seller? How much can the deal afford to pay you? So go ahead and take $1,100 and subtract $803, which is the approximate PI payment on a $134,000 loan at 6% to 30 years. What do you get? 1,100 minus 803 equals how much? Put them in the comments. This is an interactive session. I'm making you guys work, right? $1,100 minus 803. $297! Which coincidentally, I'm just going to do a subtle plug. That's exactly the price of the course. I didn't know that, guys. I promise. I swear to God, I had no idea that's how the math would come up to. But that's how it ended up. So now you can show the seller and say, hey, listen, Mr. Seller, according to my calculations, after I pay all necessary expenses, I go ahead and take a minimum allowable monthly cash flow profit of $200 per month, which, by the way, is less than what you're getting. Just going to throw that out there. And after I pay my $134,000 loan that you really want me to get so that we can pay off Wells Fargo, no problem. That's a pretty smooth pitch, right, Edgar? I really had no idea that that's what it would come up to. Then it looks like I only have $297 per month left to pay you. Now, the good news, Mr. Seller, is that I've already allocated all of the other expenses. So I am happy to give you this entire amount each and every month until the balance of $146,000 is paid off. So again, you want $146,000 because that's what you're willing to allow me to pay on terms, because you want me to borrow $134,000 to pay off Wells Fargo. I don't think that's the smartest move for you, but that's okay. If that's gonna take it to make the deal work, I'll go ahead and get a loan for $134,000. I will give you that money. You will in turn go ahead and give Wells Fargo that money, or Bank of America, whoever, and we'll take care of the underlying mortgage because that's important to you. The balance, which is $146,000, will be paid in $297 per month, because that is every penny that this deal allows me to pay. I'm happy to give you every penny that this deal allows me to pay. Now, how does that sound? Do you guys like the way the math was broken down? I did it with the seller directly. Monthly rent, deduct expenses, deduct minimum allowable monthly cash flow. I have to make money every month. Deduct the PI payment for the $134,000 loan that you want me to get so that we can pay Wells Fargo. I don't want to do it, but if that's what it means to you, then I will do it. I'll do it for you. And it looks like we have $297 per month, and I'm happy to give you every penny of that amount. Now, this is the nice thing. If they say that's too little, and you did the math with them, then you can just walk them and say, where do you want me to get more money, Mr. Seller? Do you not want me to pay the insurance? I mean, that's not very smart. Do you not want me to pay the taxes? That's not very smart. Do you not want me to set money aside for repairs and maintenance? I mean, do you really want your asset to fall apart? That's not very smart. Do you want to take food out of my mouth to feed you? That's really the only place I can figure out. Obviously, I don't like that. But that really is the only place we can take money out. Do you want me to make less per month? Make them feel bad. Make them feel bad. Because you know what? Every once in a while, you'll get a seller that says, yeah, I don't think 200 bucks is I don't think you should be making 200 bucks. Well, I think you're okay with 100. Okay, it's up to you. I'm not saying I would do it, but it's up to you. You can say, okay. So then it looks like the most I can pay you is $397, which coincidentally is going to be the new price for the course. No, I'm kidding, guys. Totally kidding. So you see how you can, by doing the math, you can really walk them through it and say, listen, Mr. Seller, if what it takes is for me to make less money, I'll do that. I'll give you the $397. And I'll still give you the $146,000. I don't know how long it's going to take me. We'll figure out the math later. And see, this is the thing. I want somebody to do the math for me. How many months will it take for me to pay $146,000 if I pay the seller $297 per month? How many months will it take? How many months will it take for me to pay the seller $146,000 if I pay him $297 per month? Plug your answer in the comments. How many months? Junior, 491 months. Justin, 491 months. That's correct. How many years is that? It's over 40 years. It's over 40 years. So this is where the seller might start saying, whoa, 40 years? And my response is very simple. It's like, yeah, you want a ton of money. I'm happy to give it to you, but you need to give me 40 years to do it. Or 41. Justin says 41 years. Junior says 40. I guess it depends on who you're doing business with. The number of years. Yeah. I'm sorry, Mr. Seller. You want a lot of money. I can't rent this home for that much. This is the only amount that the deal allows me to pay. I'm giving you every penny that the deal allows me to pay. Now, why don't we look at how things may look for you if we leave the financing in place? And this is the situation, Mr. Seller. Do you happen to know, and this is how you walk into subject 2, do you happen to know off the top of your head what your PI payment is? I'd be willing to bet that their PI payment is probably $600, $500, $700, whatever, but it's less than $803, I'd be willing to bet. So if it's less than $803, guess what? Now their monthly payment can go up. So let's say that their PI payment is $603, hypothetically. Well, all of a sudden, instead of $297, you can actually pay them $497 per month. Oh. Now go ahead and do the math again. If you're paying them $497 per month, how many months will it take you to pay the $146,000? Take $146,000 divided by 497 per month. How many months is that? Put it in the comments. Take $146,000, divide it by $497 per month. How many months is that? 293. That is correct, Junior. So all of a sudden, hey, listen, Mr. Seller, you don't like the idea of only getting $297 per month for 41 years? I don't blame you. There's a way to solve that problem. Let's go ahead and keep the mortgage in place. I will go ahead and start making payments on your behalf. Words mean things. Don't say take over payments. Don't say take over payments. Words mean things. I will pay your mortgage on your behalf. Since the mortgage payment is only $603, this is just an example, whatever it is. Since the mortgage payment is only $603, that means that there's an extra $200 that I can give you. That means that your monthly cash flow just went up to $497 per month, and now you only have to do this for 293 years. 293 years is what, like 24 months or something. I'm sorry, 24 years or something. 24 and a half years. Boom. You solved their problem of only $297 per month. You solved their problem of 41 years. And you gave them more money per month. And you opened up your doors to take it down subject to. This isn't really possible unless you do the math with them. Doing the math is extremely beneficial because it allows you to show them exactly what you're talking about. If you come in and throw them an offer and say, I'll go ahead and take your property subject to and I'll pay you $497 per month, they don't know where you came up with those numbers. This is the reason it's important to do the math. Now, another tip, whether you decide to owner finance it or whether you decide to keep it as a rental, if possible, do your negotiations based upon a rental. Based upon a rental. Why do I suggest, and this is the way we do it, why do I suggest that you base your negotiations based upon a rental? Because rental has expenses. Expenses that you profit from if you decide to owner finance it. But if you decide not to owner finance it, expenses that you will have to deal with. Rentals are kind of the worst case scenario for you. So present the worst case scenario to them. Don't call it the worst case scenario. Just say, hey, listen, if I rent this property, let's see how much I'm able to pay you on a monthly basis. Second reason why it's important. For the most part, people understand the concept of rentals. They have no idea what wrap mortgages and owner financing and note creation is. They have no idea what that is. Otherwise, they would be doing it and they wouldn't be talking to you. However, they understand the concept of renting a property. When they think of when they think of an investor, they think of a fix and flipper or they think of a landlord. That's it. So talk to them in a language that they understand. Hey, listen, Mr. Seller, it's a beautiful home. It's a beautiful home. It looks like if I rent it out, I'll be able to rent it for $2,000 per month. Now, you and I both know that that money is not entirely mine. I got to set money aside for taxes, insurance, property management, vacancies, repairs, and maintenance. How much is that? I don't know. But I've learned that 35% is usually a pretty accurate estimation. That means that if we subtract $700 or 35% of $2,000, that's going to leave us with a gross amount of $1,300 per month. Now, I don't know about you, but I want to be making money every single month. Personally, my minimum allowable monthly cash flow is $200 per property. I don't need to get rich off this property, but I do need to make about $200 per month. So that leaves me with about $1,100 per month. Now, you want me to go get a $134,000 loan? Right now, the bank is going to charge me about 6%, and they're going to give me a 30-year mortgage on it. That means that I'm going to have payments of $803 per month. If we take $1,100 per month and we subtract $803 per month, it looks like I only have $297. I am more than happy to give you every single one of those pennies. Every single one of those dollars can be yours until the debt of $146,000 is paid off. I believe you should have every penny of the purchase price, and I believe you should have every penny of the monthly amount that this deal can pay. Oh, you don't like it because it's 41 years. I don't blame you. I wouldn't like it. But where am I going to get more money from? Now, here's the thought, Mr. Seller. If we leave the mortgage in place, how much is your PI payment? And then work it down from there. Work it down from there. So anyways, I know we really went real deep into this. For those of you who haven't taken the 10-hour owner finance training, I go much deeper into a lot of deal analysis. I hope you guys get it now while it's still only $297. Price is going to go up. I don't know when. I don't know to what price, but it is going to go up. It's in the works. It's being revamped. If you guys find value in these short sessions, guys, please show me your love. Invite other wholesalers, rehabbers, flippers, buy and holders, private lenders, anybody that you know who's actively involved in real estate investing to this group. Help me get to 10,000 as quickly as we can. I believe in you guys. Announcement. Because I am always in a quest for doing more, because I am always in a quest for doing more for you guys, this will be the last live Q&A that we do with this format. What we're going to be doing moving forward is going to be a monthly roundtable discussion where I bring in experts from various perspectives and fields once per month, and we individually attack your questions. You're going to get perspectives from different people. You're going to get so much more value because it's not just going to be me. It's going to be other experts in the field that I know and trust, and you guys are going to be able to see firsthand those perspectives. It's going to be a monthly roundtable discussions. Your questions will be answered. Your deals will be analyzed. Training will be provided, but it's going to be in a roundtable format. And guys, I am so excited for that. So it's been 1 year that we've done these live Q&As. You guys probably don't know it, but it's been a total of 48 sessions. Over 190 questions have been answered. They are all in the group. If you guys want to review these, please do. We use the tag live Q&A to do that. I encourage you to do so. Please do that. Please do that. Cynthia says, where are the previous Q&As? Go to the group. One of the topics is called live Q&A. Go ahead and click on it, and then you're going to see all of the live Q&As that has happened. It's been about 47, 48 or so. We're talking about almost 50 hours of live Q&As over the last 12 months. And guys, moving forward, it's going to be even more exciting for everyone. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this last but not least session of live Q&As on Mondays. Moving forward, be on the lookout for monthly roundtable discussions with even more experts into the field. And please continue posting your questions, posting your deals, and let's all grow together. You guys have a great one. We'll see you in the group. Take care.